And we now get ready for the second semi-final of the men's pair. Lane 1 Spain, Lane 2 France, Lane 3 Croatia, Lane 4 Great Britain, Lane 5 Romania, and Lane 6 Turkey.
So we'll have a lane check for you. Introduce the rowers. Here is Pau Velamaggi, the 31-year-old strokeman. Behind him, Alex Sigurd-Jonsson, the Spanish crew. Seen them on the scene. The Onfroy brothers, Valentin, the 23-year-old, furthest away from you and closest to Théophile. Olympic champions in men's double sculls with 2 blades each. Now they've changed to 1 blade each. The incredible, and I mean that sincerely, Sinkovic brothers. There's the shirt of the 23-year-old Tom George. He's at the stroke of the British pair, and Tom Jeffrey, the man who's come up through the club ranks in Great Britain from Thames Rowing Club, behind him. Going well here. The young Romanians in the stroke seat, Cosmin Pascari, just 19 years of age in the stroke seat. And great to see the Turkish combination here. Onet Kazliki, 24 years of age in the stroke seat. Behind him, Besin Sangnoglu in the bows. There is the very distinctive goatee of Martin Sinkovic, the Croatian bowman.
Turkey.
So excited to see this pair, Sarah, and just how fast they're going to be.
And they're away a little slower off the start with the Croatians. It looked like off to their left-hand side it was the British, Tom Jeffrey and Thomas George, who just popped their bow out to the early lead, but all eyes on the Croatians, I think, in this event. We were talking in the last semi-final about how open this event is, but, I mean, this pair, they're pretty strong.
They are pretty strong as you take a look at this Romanian pair, looking to just come out to that full length. They're big men in that boat, but it is the Croatian Sinkovic brothers with that red and white chessboard pattern on their sides who are just starting to ease their way out.
There we see very distinctive upright stance or seated position for the 29-year-old Valentin Sinkovic in the stroke seat.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting thing that they've done. For those of you who aren't quite so aware, they won the Olympic Games in the double scull, where they had 2 oars each. They've now made this choice. They want to test themselves. They want to make it harder for themselves. So they've gone into the coxless pair where they've got 1 oar each. Interesting thing to do, I think.
It is, and they've taken the same coach, Niki Bralic, with them, and not had the easiest of seasons. Valentin Sinkovic had a rib injury. That's the man at the left of your picture with the Croatian red and white shirt on. British pair up there. The British have been really pleased with the speed of this pair. Tom George in the stroke seat, and there with the sort of rather shaved head is the man from Thames. Tom Jeffrey came up, won the Thames Cup at Henley, which is a club event. Then the next year he won the Visitor Challenge Cup for fours, famously beating Cal Barkley in the final when they hit the booms, and he's now in the British World Championship team and vying for a place in the A final of the pairs. What a story.
As they come through the 500-metre mark, it is lane 4, the British crew, and of course the Spanish over in lane 1, who are locked together in that second position. The Croatians looking like they're very much in the controlling position at this stage, about half a length up on the field. But interestingly, the Onfroy brothers from France sitting back in 4th place.
Yeah, I think, you know, the Onfroys will reckon they can do the Spanish. They beat them in the heat, beat them by about 6 seconds. The Spanish have had to go through the repechage. So I don't think the French are going to be too worried at this early stage. What are we at? 750 metres gone of a 2,000-metre race.
That's right, as we have another look here at the Croatian Sinkovic brothers. But you're right, Martin, we were in Poznan and we saw the French pair win the gold medal. We see them now in the World Cup there. See them now, that bow ball number 2, just starting to put pressure on the French, put pressure from the French on the Spanish beside them.
I have to say, well, just a check about the Romanian Cosmin Pascari. You see him, he's the man on the left of your picture. Incredible oarsman, won the under-23 pairs this year, won the junior men's 4 just 2 years ago, and what a talent. There's the Brits. I was going to say, actually, looking at the Croatians, when they were in the double, they took your breath away. You just thought that's sensational. It's not quite the same effect in the pair, is it?
It's really interesting looking at their blade work and the puddle as well. I mean, they have a huge amount of power. Look at the bounce in that bow of that boat.
The blade's going deep, isn't it? As they come through the 1,000, we've got the Croatians out there in front, but it's pretty tight for these other qualifying places. Here, just looking at that French blade, I think that looks cleaner. Just the painted bit is going in the water. You don't want all the black bit in the water. That's inefficient.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of water being thrown off those blades from the Croatians, which we'll see when we zoom out. But like you say, Greg, really nice efficiency, I think, from some of these other pairs, particularly the French, who are very smooth. But look at this job that the British are doing, sitting in second. They've got their bow ball on the stern of the Croatians. A really great performance from these young guys.
Yeah, well, I have to say, this is the British pair's first regatta as a pair, and they have really blown some of their contenders apart. The Romanians, they're back in 4th place behind the dueling French and Spanish, or Romanians in 5th place. So there is the contest for the qualification. At the top of your picture is the Spanish Alex Sigurby-Jonsson and Pau Vela-Maggi, and they are going head-to-head with the Onfroy brothers from Verdun. That's in the east of France, the famous town where there was a huge battle in the First World War. And the two of them are dueling for that vital 3rd place, Greg.
Well, I think this one's going to get really tight now. I think the Croatian pair have got it out in front, but we see the Spanish now. This is still tight. It's very tight for who's going to get this 3rd qualifying position. I think there's at least 4 crews are in it. The British have gone early. I think they may start to show the pain. They may start to just come back into the group, as we can see them now, having to work really hard to maintain that 2nd position.
Well, that race is, as you say, it's bringing them back to the Brits. Who's your pick, Sarah? Who's going to get that 3rd or 2nd place behind the Croatians?
500 to go. I mean, I think that the British, they've got about a length clear, but look at the race that's unfolding behind them, and this is the danger period when you have 3 crews like this, the French, the Spanish, the Romanians, all level, all fighting for that last position.
I think the Croatians are rowing their best now in the race, aren't they? I mean, maybe that's just because they're right out in front, but they do look to be picking it a little better on the front end, just loosened off a bit. Maybe that's because of tiredness, getting the boat, just timing it just great. There's the Onfroy brothers' blades.
Well, if you're asking for predictions, I'm predicting the Onfroy brothers. Look how wide his hands are set apart there. Looking down there, getting a really good hold of that blade. But look, the French have moved well against the Spanish, but I think the British are getting pulled into this, and the Romanian pair are right in there as well.
Yeah, the Romanians, well, you can see they're 34 metres behind, but only 6 metres behind the French. And, well, those numbers may go down. They'll have to make a move quickly because they're into the last 250 metres.
And the French up on 42, 43 strokes a minute. They're really going for it. The British, they're sitting just a fraction lower at 39 strokes a minute, still with a canvas, but it's the Romanians in lane 5 who are the movers. They're challenging the French.
They're challenging the French. The British are coming back into it. The British will be desperate for the finish line to come. I can tell you from experience, you're in so much pain now. I reckon there's 15 strokes left that they've got to get through. Can the British manage to hold on to this 2nd place? I think the French are going to come at them. The Romanians don't look dynamic enough to me. If you have a look at them, they're not accelerating enough, they're not bringing the stroke rate up enough. And I think the British may just hang on.
So crossing the line, it is the pair from Croatia. They're on the right of your picture. There they are now. Croatians cross the line in this semi-final. They take the 1st place. Britain finished 2nd. Great result from them. Félicitations les Français, the Onfroy brothers, to take 3rd place ahead of Romania. Just couldn't hold it together in that sprint for the line. There's the Croatians back on form. Probably, I'd say, made them favourites for the gold medal, that performance. 2 seconds slower, I think. Let's just get confirmation of that. Yeah, no, they were the quickest of the 2 semi-finals, 6:25, 6:26. The other semi was won in by the pair from Italy.
And I think we shouldn't forget how hot it is for these competitors now out there in the sun. It's virtually midday, and they've had to work so hard. And I think it'll come down to a bit of recovery, how well they're able to get over these races. And that semi-final was so closely fought that they've now got tomorrow to recover, and then they'll come out and race this final on Saturday. But for me, it's all about recovery now.
Yeah, they've got the ice bath, and I'm going to interview some of the rowers in the ice bath after we finish this transmission. But, you know, they have been heat acclimatised, these guys. I mean,
they have been, but I think you've still got some people who are more used to it who'll handle it better. Potentially the Croatians might be more used to it than the British might be.
It's been so hot in Croatia this summer. It's been 90 degrees every day. So there are the results. Croatia 6:25, 9:6, the quickest time in the semi-finals. The Brits coming